Hello guys, in today's video I'm gonna show you how to change your oil filter and your clutch on the Honda CB 750 1994 RC42 engine. And for that we're gonna need new oil, we're gonna need a new seal for the clutch cover, we're gonna need obviously the clutch plates, then the springs for the pressure plates, the oil filter, because we also changed the filter, the oil, and I'm gonna also change the air filter. First thing what we're gonna do is to drain the oil from the bike, because this bike has the clutch in the engine oil. This is the clutch cover, so anything you want to do taking this cover off needs to be done after you drain the oil from the bike. In order to drain the oil, you need to open this bolt right here. This is a 13mm, and then we're gonna proceed opening the oil filter from the front of the bike. To ensure that the oil drains easily, make sure you open this and let it open. Using this kind of tool, we're gonna open the oil filter, which is here in front of the bike. Squeeze the tool between the exhaust pipes.
She's waiting for love to be realized.
The clutch cover, but before doing anything we're gonna have to release the clutch cable. And we're gonna take this tool, push this up, and then just take out the cable, and that's it, it's out. With an 8mm wrench we're gonna open all the screws from the clutch cover, and I like to open them in opposite sides, so I'm gonna start with this one, then go with this one, then this one, and so on. I took all the bolts out using the 8mm, so now the cap can be removed. To worry to remember which bolt comes from where, because Honda was smart enough to make them all the same dimensions. Okay, next step is gonna be to unscrew these 4 bolts which had the pressure plate in its place. So the pressure plate is down. We're gonna remove the springs. And the next step is going to be to open this nut here, and for this we're gonna need a special bit, and then we can continue. Hello guys, so after 1 month of ordering all of my clutch components from the Honda CB 750 1994 RC42 engine, they finally arrived, and because by mistake I've broken this one, the pressure plate, I had to order a new one, so I've ordered the pressure plate, the clutch plates, and the friction discs, as well as a new lock nut central lock nut. And this time I've ordered it with a normal metric head because the original was like this one, so I needed to build a special tool together with my father in order to open this one. But I'll show you after the installation how to put this or unlock this one. I've also ordered new judder spring and a judder spring sit. Okay, so now I will show you how to build the clutch in right order, because on YouTube I couldn't find actually anyone to explain the right order of the parts to be put back on the clutch, so I'll try to do my best to explain this to you. So first things first, I will set the judder spring with this side, with the dished side of the judder spring facing outside, which would be that way. So the dished side of the judder spring goes that way. Then we'll take the judder spring sit, it's like a big washer, and we'll put it back here. And then we'll start with, I really recommend you to use the manual, because here you can see the way the friction disc should look, and also now you can see here that we have 2 dimensions of friction discs. This one, which is smaller, and this one is next. It also has this little thing here, so you can know that this one is the first friction disc to put it back. Okay, then we have then you can see we have 2 types of clutch plates. You know, it's this gray one, which has to be put right now, which is the first one. And then we have the other, I don't know, 5 of them, which are silver. It's the same way as is described in the Honda CB 750 manual. Next, we're gonna put a simple friction disc, if I may call it like that. Then a gray clutch plate, and we'll go like this to the very end. I don't think it matters if you put it this way or the other way, because it looks similar on both ways, both sides. Okay, and the last friction disc, and then we're just gonna place the pressure plate in these holes, and this will be our clutch assembly. The only thing that I have to do now is to put it on the bike, put this washer, and then tighten this nut, put some oil back in the bike, but we'll talk about this tomorrow, the other day. Hello guys, so after we cleaned everything well down here, the clutch basket and everything, and where the clutch cover seal will come, I also cleaned very well with brake fluid. I really recommend it, it really does the job well. So now we can proceed with the installation of the clutch, but before doing that, in the manual it says that we have to put some MO2 oil, like this one here, additive oil, MOS2, on the clutch outer, as I said. And I'm gonna do this using this thing back here. Good enough. So next thing is to assemble the clutch, but when you do that, make sure, I forgot to mention last night, that you have to take these and dig them in some engine oil before putting the whole clutch back. Make sure you dip them in oil, fresh engine oil, and then you put it back in the clutch assembly. Okay, so after we assemble the clutch, we just come here and put it at its place. Like this. Okay. Now, using an impact gun, air compressed impact gun, and a 27mm, we're gonna tighten here the nut, the central lock nut. Okay, that should be enough. And now, using a flat head screwdriver and a small hammer, we're gonna hit this here to lock the nut. Okay, that's good. Now we're gonna put the springs back. And this plate facing this side to the outside. And the screws. I like to tighten them up in a crisscross way. Make sure they tighten easy, don't force things up. Okay, and for this I'm gonna use a Newton meter wrench. So I will check with the manual to find out the right Newton meter for these bolts, and then we're gonna tighten them up. Okay, so I checked in the manual and it says that for 6mm threads we need to use 10 Newton meters force to assemble it back. So I set the wrench on 10 Newton millimeters and I start screwing the bolts in a crisscross way all the time. They still go very easy. Done. Now the next step is to put back the gasket. I'm gonna use just a little bit of engine oil here so the gasket will stay stick there, and then we're gonna put back the cover, tighten it up, then put back the clutch cable, put some oil in the engine and change the air filter, put back the battery and try to start the motorcycle. Hello everybody. So I've told you many times in this video that I will explain you how I opened the central lock nut for the clutch. So basically this is the nut. It's this kind of weird shaped, and if you don't want to buy the original tool for this, which is this one, so if you don't want to spend around 40 euros for a new one, you may also take 27 millimeters and with an angle grinder to chop it nice and smooth. Go to the motorcycle, put it like this, make some marks on the bit so you know where you need to cut with angle grinder, and then just cut with the angle grinder until you bring the tool into this shape. And then at the end, what I did with a metal file, I've rectified around here just to be nice and smooth surface. And with impact gun, with a pneumatic impact gun, it should work just fine. It should open easily, this nut. If it wasn't over tightened before, it should just work just fine using this kind of tool. So hello everybody. After I put everything back, also engine oil, I also changed the oil filter and the air filter. I put back the battery. Also I've tensioned the clutch cable from here. If you want to tension it, you must unscrew this 14 millimeter, and then here it's a 12 millimeter. And if you want to make it more tension, then you have to pull the cable up. If you want to make it loose, you have to put the cable back in. I have to push this down here, and you want to make sure that you just have, so you want to make sure that you have a small slack here. It's not too tight, it's not too much slack, but just a tiny slack like this. This is the best adjustment for the clutch handle. So I took advantage of this beautiful Saturday, 5th of December. It was actually 13-14 degrees, and I went out riding this beauty for 200 kilometers together with my brother and my father. It was a good ride in Timiș County, Romania. So I really did a good job, and hope you liked it, and I hope this video is useful for you. And I have to mention one last thing, very important thing. When I explained the clutch assembly, actually the judder spring and the judder spring sit there in the opposite way that I explained. So I said that the judder spring comes first, but actually it's the judder spring sit which comes first, and then the judder spring with the dished side to the outside of the motorcycle, so like this way. So that's all. Thanks for watching again. If you liked, so subscribe, and see you in the next video.